Go ahead.
Okay. Our mission. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and evidence for the afterlife in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background. Attendance today at this meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. However, these Zoom meetings are very helpful to parents all around the world, and they are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members who are not able to attend live can also watch. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you so much, Irene. And I'm so thrilled to have Fara here. And I just want to let everybody know, make sure that you stay muted, because unfortunately something's going wonky with this. We've just had a few people who unmuted, but that's not usually the case because we have the security things in place. But I'm going to just tell a little bit about Fara. She has come to Unity to present to our group, I believe maybe 3 times, but definitely 2 times. She is such a hit with all of the parents. She is just so incredibly bubbly, so fun to listen to. And we were thrilled that she was going to be coming to the conference as well. We've wanted her to speak ever since the conference was postponed, but unfortunately she is so busy. So we finally have her here today, and you all will love her. Fara Gibson was born with an amazing God-given ability. She has the ability to connect people here in the physical world with their loved ones that have passed on to heaven. Her gift lies in the messages that she gets to deliver to her sitters. When she was a little girl, she always knew that she was different from all of the other kids. She could see things that other kids didn't see, hear things that other kids couldn't hear, and she felt things that she couldn't explain. In her teens, she discovered that it wasn't that she was different, she was blessed. She is clairaudient, she hears spirit, clairsentient, she feels spirit, and she is also clairvoyant. She sees spirit and the symbols that they give her. She has shared messages of healing and assurance that our loved ones are with us and watching over us from heaven since she was a young girl. She also offers life coaching and spiritual guidance, as well as readings with messages from our loved ones. She thanks each and every one of you for joining her on this amazing journey, as well as sharing your families with her and allowing her to connect with your loved ones in heaven. She truly loves each and every reading that she does. Please learn more about Fara at www.faragibsonpsychicmedium.com, which I'll put in the chat box. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming Fara Gibson.
Hi guys. I felt like I was just like getting ready to like run out on stage. This has been so awesome, you guys. I'm so excited about today. Yeah, I tried to decide what I was going to do today, you know, and I know that everybody would love me to do readings, but I think one of the biggest things that has inspired me with Helping Parents Heal was back when we were preparing for the convention that was going to be in Charleston, and even before that, in my journey, I do a lot of readings for parents who have children in heaven. And I think each and every one of you guys inspire me so much to keep going and to work this hard, because if I'm not answering emails, I'm writing, and if I'm not writing, I'm posting, and if I'm not posting, I'm doing readings, and every single moment is worth all the work that I put in, because if I can just teach you that your children are still with you and loving you and watching over you and at your side, it makes it all worthwhile. And I heard a mom say once, I just want to hear my child. And it actually broke my heart because I'm a mom and I can't say that I've walked in your shoes. And I have all these abilities, but I never for one moment wanted a mom to feel like she couldn't hear her own child and couldn't connect with her own child. Each and every one of you has unbreakable bonds that your children have with you that nobody could ever take away. And that's really kind of what I wanted to talk about today, just a little bit. So with what I do, the connecting that I do, I feel as though each and every one of you have connections within you, and everybody has very different abilities. Maybe you see signs that your children send. Maybe you sit in a quiet place and you feel like you're pretending what they would say in your head. Maybe you get that moment where you just feel like they're there, but you're not sure, because that self-doubt is such a crazy thing. It's that human self-doubt that we just have to like take wad up and throw it out the window. I wanted to kind of touch on some of that today with you guys and kind of maybe give you a few tools to really hear your children. I think that's important. I don't want anybody to ever think they have to pay a medium to hear their child. So a couple of the things, when I'm connecting you guys, it is never an out loud voice in my ear, never. It is a thought that comes across. It's a silent thought. And I say that in heaven, I call it, we speak with our souls. So instead of having these vocal cords and these bodies and all these crazy things that we have in life, in heaven, we're without these things. And so in heaven, we speak with our souls. So it's literally a thought that goes back and forth. I think to them, they think back to me, to put it in easy terms, right? There's indications that I get on my body of their passing. So when I'm going through a passing with a client, you know, on a reading, I will literally feel as though I had cancer in my liver, or, you know, perhaps there was an incision here, or, you know, maybe I was missing a digit, or there's all different things that they'll give me, but they literally give me those indications on my body. And then I say that they give me visions in my mind as well, specific visions that no different than thoughts that you guys get, right? So if you guys could picture a green apple right now in your vision with a beautiful little red worm sticking out with a smiley face, you can kind of create that vision in your mind. And those are the same types of visions, you guys, that I get. I'm not something that's like so out of this world that you can't reach this with your kids. And so maybe you just get the visions, maybe you just get the thoughts, maybe you just feel them. But whatever it is, I want you to learn to embrace that. I always say, if we take the physical relationship that we have with our loved ones and we put it on our left, the times that you carried them in utero and the times that we shared with them in life and the times that we wanted to ground them, take their things away, put them in their room, the times that we laughed with them, the times that we cried with them, because you guys, I'm a mom. So there's all those ups and downs and those things that we go through with our kids, right? Put those things on your left, they'll always be there. Those memories are never, ever going to go anywhere. And all of those things are life and legacy. But on your right, your children are still standing. What if I can teach you to bridge between the two? And that's really my goal with this, right? So I thought about doing like a little bit of an exercise, so to speak, today with you guys, to see if I can kind of help you to understand what it is that I mean. And I have a little something here, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's in my hand. It's in my hot little hand. I want you guys to take a big deep breath. Take a big deep breath through your nose and blow it out your mouth. Now the next deep breath that you take in, I want you to breathe in your child into your space, and I want you to invite them to sit with you. So I want you to take a beautiful deep breath in. And as you take that deep breath in, I want you to invite your beautiful child to join you. Now I want you to blow out your self-doubt. Now that we have our children with us, I want you to ask them in your mind. So in heaven, we speak with our thoughts. You don't have to say it out loud. I want you to ask them in your mind if they can give you a visual or a word that represents what Fara has in her hands. I know I'm not showing you, but I want you to listen to the first things that pops into your head. Doesn't have to seem silly. It's not. No matter what it is it a color? Is it a shape? Is it a thing? Is it solid? Is it soft? I want you to pay attention to the first thing that comes into your head. And then I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Okay, so you have your thing. That first thing that popped in, don't overthink it. You're not going to be wrong. You're working with your child. Your child is there with you, working with you right now to just work on your abilities. And this is the first time, so it's okay. I don't know how to do this because I can't hear everybody, right? So I'm just going to show you what I have, and then I'm going to explain something. So what I have is a purple angel, okay? It also looks like a heart in some forms. It also looks like an angel in some forms. It's solid, it's smooth, right? So there's different things that you could have been shown in that moment. Could have been the color purple. It could have been wings. It could have been a heart. It could have been a round circle because there is on the head, right? And the reason I'm giving you this as an example is because there's so many different things that could come across to us, and every one of you may have gotten something just a little bit different from the other, from your child. And if you didn't get it, it's okay. It's all right. It's just our first time, right? But what I'm saying is there's different things that they can give you that will still mean. So when I'm doing a reading, I may see this angel in my vision and I'm like, oh, they're showing me an angel. And then all of a sudden, maybe they'll make it purple, or they'll give me hearts with this or whatever, you know, so there's different rooms for interpretation is what I'm saying. So work with your children. I think that we're more psychic for others than we are for ourselves sometimes. Challenge your child to give you the color shirt that your spouse is wearing today. Or if you don't have a spouse, maybe somebody else, right? Challenge them in your head, work with your children. Because when we can validate the things that we're getting versus feel like we're pretending what our child is saying to us, and when you can get that validation back of, wow, my husband is wearing a black shirt today, or my sister is wearing red today, or whoever it is that you can kind of shoot a text and say, hey, what color is your shirt today, by the way? You don't have to tell them what you're doing. and I just, hopefully you guys can really kind of learn to embrace that you're talking to your children. And that for me is what's important. I literally just had a mom come to my house just before I got on this call. And one of the things her son gave me, she went, oh. And one of the things that her son was showing me that was that his wife was just making colorful cookies. And I was like, what are these colorful cookies? I never know what it means, you guys, as silly as it sounds, right? And she goes, my sons and I were making colorful Play-Doh cookies last night. And I said, yeah, but it's all over in the wood on the table. And she goes, oh my God, it is. I haven't even cleaned it up. But it's their way of saying they see you, right? So when you work with your children, see if they can give you something to validate for somebody else. So you don't feel like you're pretending what they would say to you, right? Because then we just feel like we're crazy and we go, okay, this is me just hoping that I'm hearing from my child. Challenge them to give you something you can validate. That's my best advice for you guys, because you're going to be able to get that validation back. And it's so important for you to kind of have that knowledge that you really are speaking with your child. Hopefully that'll help. Does anybody have general questions about connecting or any questions that I can help you with in general?
First of all, I just want to say that there are a lot of things that kind of actually echo what you had. There's, for instance, a crystal or a rock. There are people who are saying amethyst, rock as well. Let's see, Natalie's saying, that's what I got, thank you. As well as a figurine, which it felt like a stone.
Oh, so they were typing it in?
Yeah, my son sent me purple hearts today. He knew I would be here. I got a heart and love. I felt a heart, but doubted myself. Purple feather wings. So
yes.
Everybody is a heart. Let's see.
You guys are gonna make me cry.
So I heard.
I'm so damn proud of you.
I got a crystal. The first thing I saw was wings. This is another one. And so let's see. One sees her son Tommy with a heart. So anyway, we do have questions, and I would love to be able to have you answer us some of those questions. Sandra is saying, if my daughter was a very ill person, would you feel her less?
Oh, no, 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 no. So if your daughter was a very ill person in life, you take the most perfect you could ever picture her and multiply that by infinity. And that's how amazing she is in heaven. We are totally in amazing perfection in heaven. So heaven is a place that's absolutely perfect. Earth is a place where we're meant to grow, and through our struggles we find our strength. So heaven is definitely not a place that we struggle. So some people may go, well, there's no way that my child wrote this struggle. Well, we're kind of writing it from perfection in heaven, right? So we have no idea how crappy this is going to be when we come here, when we're writing this journey, and we're like, I'm going to sign up for this. And there might be somebody in heaven that's had a past life that's going, that's going to be a tough one. And we're like, yeah, but I'm going to do it anyway. You parents are the most strong spirits I could ever even imagine being. And remember that the strongest spirits write the most difficult journeys. I am so proud of you and the shoes that you're standing in. And I know that that's really not what we want to hear, because I know that I wish I could bring every one of your children back. But know that they never left you. Your children graduated to heaven before you. How amazing are they? They're more beautiful than you and I. So when your child was sick in life, that absolutely goes away. I will see them in readings, kick a wheelchair. They're sassy, you guys. The thing that just came through in this last reading, I can't say it because I don't want to say bad words here, but they're sassy. They don't lose their sass. They keep their personalities. They absolutely stay true to their spunk and their sense of humor. But if they were sick, they're not sick in heaven. Those are the most amazing angels coming into bodies you could imagine.
That's beautiful. Listen, I just want you to answer this question. It comes up almost every time, but I know how you're going to answer it. Ayana is saying, if my child chose to end her life herself, is she still in heaven?
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. This is our life that we come here for. This is our journey and our experience that we come here for. And God doesn't punish us when we get to heaven, you guys. I absolutely have a faith in God, and I want to challenge your faith and beliefs. If you don't, you do you rock your world, like it's okay. But I believe that we do a life review, and we come here to grow through our struggles and our strengths, and we just kind of go up and down with that. But when we get back to heaven, it doesn't matter how we got there. We're absolutely going back to heaven. For me, you guys, I don't believe in the alternative, and I don't want to challenge anybody's faith or beliefs. I believe that some people are put on this earth to challenge us. You could probably think of those people in your path. My ex beat me and spit on me for 17 years, told me how worthless I was. I'll just use me as an example. And I have to go, you know what? I'm thankful for his lessons. I signed up for those with him in heaven long before I ever came here, and I wouldn't be the person that I am without them. Someday I'll high five him in heaven and thank him. I don't like the air that he breathes right now. That's okay. I don't have to, because I'm human and he's still living and I'm not with him. But when our children, or anybody else for that matter, takes themselves to heaven by choice, know that it's not something that we're punished for. We'll go through a life review. We'll definitely see different options that we could have taken in those moments that we were really struggling with. And we see those things, but it's not a regret. They love you completely. I promise. Okay.
Beautiful, Farah, and exactly the way that I feel.
Yeah.
What about your thoughts on reincarnation, and will our children meet us when we leave Earth? Are they going to stay up there for us?
So that's a good question. And I think that I do believe that we have the choice to reincarnate. Okay. This may be your first life. It may be your last. It may be your sixth life, and maybe you have 3 more to go, right? And that's your choice. So I do feel like it's left up to us. It's our blueprint. It's our plan within what we really want and intend for our growth and the growth for others. Because I feel like the husband that I have now, we've come back a few times in different relationships as well. I did a past life regression one time, and I saw myself on the beaches of Normandy with my husband, but I was a man and so was he, and we both got blown off the beaches of Normandy at the same time. Wow, what a ride. And now here we are back, right? I feel like I've been here quite a few times, you guys. But I feel like we're not made to come back. If you get back to heaven and go, that was it for me, then you'll stay. I do feel like it's about 100 years in our lifetime years to plan another life, typically. Don't worry about your children not being there. They're going to be there. You'll know them. just as you knew them before this body. I know that a lot of times we think of life in this body, right? And I do feel as though we were a spirit in heaven before we came into this body. It's kind of the driver of this car, so to speak. And when this car is done driving me around in life, because it just won't go anymore, I simply step out of the car and I go back to the same spirit form that I was in heaven long before I ever drove that car. I'm not bound by that car. I'm limitless. And I can decide to get another car if I want. Maybe I'm done driving. Maybe I don't want another car. Maybe I'm fine and happy right where I'm at, and I'll walk or fly, because in heaven we get to fly. But I do feel like we do come back a lot of times. Sometimes maybe, so there's other things with that though as well. Let's say that your child was an addict in life. Tough road. It is. Life of an addict is not an easy life to live. Look at the amazing growth that they blessed each and every one of you with through their addiction. You wouldn't be as strong as you are without it, right? Now, when they get back to heaven, what do? They're that voice in the ear for that addict that's still living. They've had that life experience. Now they can help somebody because they know what it is to live a life as an addict. And they can go, man, not today. Today's the day you want to get clean, right? And they had that as well. So I do feel as though we continue to work when we get to heaven with our life experience that we have here, we can use that to help others, if that makes sense as well. So we do a lot with this life. We don't just, it doesn't just end here, you guys. We continue to grow and help others and support their life journeys, because this sucks sometimes.
Well, tell us about reincarnation then. I mean, do you think that the people who come back over and over again are older souls than the ones who have not come back as much? Or do you have any thoughts on that for us?
I feel like we evolve within that growth. So I think that there are definitely different levels of growth within our spirit. I do feel like we're all made of the same light. I feel like each and every one of us is made. So I'm more important than any of you guys. You guys, I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like you do. I promise, right? So I think every one of us is here to really support each other's journeys. And so I do feel like we can come back in different dynamics and different support levels, and maybe even within the same group. So, soul mates come in different forms, you guys. It's not always somebody that we're married to or, intimate with. Sometimes your children will feel so amazing, closer than your spouse, right? Shh, don't tell them. But there's reasons for that. Soulmates can come back in different dynamics. Just as I said, my husband and I feel like my husband that I have now is my soul's mate. And it's not always that we join our soul's mates in every lifetime. And my ex definitely was not my soul's mate, but sometimes your child may feel like your soul's mate, and especially that child that passed. And that is a loss that's above, any other, just so much harder to work through, because we just missed that connection here right next to us. But I do feel like we come back in multiple dynamics. It just, and not always as a male and not always as a female. So there's that too. I do, so for me, spirit speaks volumes, you guys. I don't want to do a debate on people who, feel attracted to the same sex or whatever in life, but spirit is the answer to that for me. When there's a male spirit living in a female body, sometimes it's hard to pull that off, or a female spirit living in a male body. Sometimes it's hard to pull that off too. You see those masculine girls that, or those feminine guys, and you go, man, but they're trying their butts off. I'll tell you what, no judgment from me, man. Everybody's doing everything that they can to live the best version of themselves that they can. So yeah.
That's also beautiful. I just want to say that Darlene wrote something beautiful about you. She said, I read A Letter from Heaven by Fara Gibson at my daughter's service before I knew who Fara was. So I know my precious daughter was guiding me to her, and that she's been amazing for me and for my healing. So grateful to you, which is just wonderful. And it is a beautiful book. And also Dixie's saying, I'm so sorry you went through all of that abuse, Fara. And we all feel that way. I mean, that's just such a hard thing to have to deal with in any life. But also, there's other things that are very, very interesting. One of the things that I think is important for you to explain, though, Linda's saying, is my child sad that he's not with his family? Could you talk to that a bit?
No, Linda. Where's Linda at? Okay, it's okay. We don't have to pull Linda up. Um, so there's no negative thoughts, feelings, or emotions in heaven. Not one. They're not even capable of it. And I always say it's one of the things that I write in a lot of my writings is they don't even miss you. I literally put those words out so often. Instead, they love you. And that is what they're capable of, pure love. Not only that, they don't need to miss you. Heaven, you guys, for me, again, this is my thing. Heaven is 3 feet off of our floor. Look down where your feet are. Go up 3 feet from there. Your kids are in this space. They don't need to miss you. They're with you always. I will have them bring up a broken pinky fingernail on a reading, or a tooth that's got an issue in the back of mom's mouth, or a little thing. And as dumb as that sounds, they see you all the way down to that. They're not missing you. They're loving you through every step you take. And you can't do it wrong, you guys. Those tears are made of love. Don't you ever apologize for your tears. Just so you know. But yeah, they don't miss us, honey. They're with us every single day. And they know that you're still living, and that's hard to do, right? They reached their growth. They graduated. They're celebrating. Yes.
That's beautiful. So Patty's asking, I've wondered if my 2 unborn kids reincarnated as my grandkids. Would you maybe give an idea of whether or not that could be possible?
Well, I don't think so, and only because I can still feel them. So I do say that they will send some of their traits sometimes, and they will absolutely inspire feelings of that, or like mannerisms and those type of things as well. It's funny because every connection I've made, I've always been able to make it. So I say that most of them are typically all still here. I've never done a reading in which I could not reach the person that we wanted to connect with. And I don't ask for who my clients want to connect with in advance. So one of the things I always say is I've never done a reading in which the ones we wanted to hear from didn't come through. And because I find that they're always there. And I feel like if they were there, I wouldn't be connecting with them there if they were here. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, but yeah, no, her kiddos are still there.
That's wonderful. So this is an interesting question. My son told me that he can be in more than one dimension at the same time because time isn't the same there as it is here. Could you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, no, that's a true thing. So there is no sense of time in heaven. In heaven, I always say in heaven, we don't have to wear watches and walk around and go, oh, it's time for whatever, right? Heaven is an earthly created thing. We need it for work. We need it for lunch. We need it for dinner. God bless me, because I want all 3 meals. And I'm like, oh, it's time for lunch, right? So in heaven is eternal. There's no sense of time in heaven. And so for that reason, we don't have to keep track of any time. And yes, you can be in more than one place at a time. From heaven as well. We're boundless, you guys. We're not stuck in these bodies. I will be doing a reading with somebody in Australia, and then I'm here, and they'll show me something in the room, right next to them in Australia or something, just as an example. And I was, but I'm here and they're connecting with me here. So when I'm doing a reading, you guys, there's a difference in mediumship and a psychic feel as well. When I'm doing a reading, I don't need an item. I don't need a ring to hold on to. You don't have to hand me a scarf or a picture. People always wonder, like, wait a minute, if you're so far away, then how are you going to do a reading for me? And, we're on the phone and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter how far you are away. Heaven is connecting with me for you. And there is no limit with that. So like I said, when I'm connecting with somebody in Australia whose loved one has passed, their loved one is connecting with me and can still see them at the same time. That's pretty boundless. So
beautiful. So Tanya is saying, why is it sometimes I can feel like they're super close and the next day or shortly later, it seems like I'm grasping at air for any one thing?
I love that question, actually. The answer is you're meant to grow through your grief. They're not meant to be there every single second. Because if they were, they would have stayed here in the physical form, right? So they're not meant to be in every dream. They're not meant to be in every moment, close and feel, but they're still there. I promise. They simply I always kind of say like they take one step back so that you can grow your wings through your grief. But they're still very much there. They're just not standing in your wing space, if that makes sense. because you ladies and gentlemen, I know that there's both parents on here, right? You guys are really growing through this. And so the days that we need them the most, maybe the days that we're really broken and we're really, not able to even stand up off the floor, maybe that day you finally get a sign and you're like, oh, I needed this so much. And then you start feeling a little bit better because we feel them. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, they're gone. They're not gone. They're never gone. I promise. They just take a step back and go, all right, mom, you take these next couple steps. Dad, you take these next couple steps, and I'm going to be right behind you. But, you're going to have to take these steps just like I did when I was little, yeah.
That's beautiful. But they also have other things that they're doing. They're attending school and they've got
I
other
say that we don't keep them
occupations.
from those things, like our grief, you guys, your grief is never going to hold them back. Don't ever let anybody telling you that you're holding them back from anything either. I promise you're not. Those grief, that grief is made of love, and they feel that love, not the pain.
That's beautiful. There's a good question here about a medium telling her that the baby girls know that a new baby is coming into our family. And yes, after 3 months, it was confirmed too. How does spirit know so long in advance that things like that are going to be happening in the family?
We have a blueprint that we wrote long before we ever came here, folks. And within that blueprint, we wrote our family. Some of our family is meant to be close. Some of them are crazy, right? I get along with some of my family really well when we don't speak. You guys probably have a few of those in your family as well. But everybody's written into our path for a reason. And those babies are written in long before we ever come here too. Heaven's knowledge is universal, you guys. They know everything. I have baby announcements come through quite often during readings. Actually, today I messed up a blanket present for my in-home clients because the daughter-in-law was making the mother-in-law a blanket with the son's shirts. And I was like, you showed me you're making a blanket for his mom. And she's like, shh, because he, so they do see those things coming and they do want you to know that they're still a part of it. I think that, some of the things that we miss out on the most is like they didn't get to see the new babies in the family, or they didn't get to see the graduations, or they didn't get to see the weddings and all those milestones. So for them to bring it up in a reading is kind of common. I try not to give any future predictions in my readings. They kind of know me. Like I don't like to do that because I feel like your soul has a plan and I don't want to influence that. I don't want to change your growth or challenge your growth. But they will announce babies sometimes. In fact, I was at a group reading just a couple months ago. And I said, you guys are trying for a baby and it's the family that's around, the whole group is a family. And I said, you guys are trying for a baby? And they're like, they're straight faced and they're not saying anything. I said, well, your dad's telling me you're pregnant. And she lost it. She goes, I was hoping my dad would announce that today. And everybody's head in the room flipped around and looked at her and they were like, you're pregnant? Nobody knew. She didn't tell her family and she was like 4 months pregnant. I was like, how the hell did you keep that a secret? So yeah, spirit knows. And I would rather not be the one that's tattling.
Oh, that's so wonderful though. Kimberly is saying that she would love to hear you talk about dream visits. She hasn't received any in 12 years. Do you have any techniques for helping with that, or maybe
Yes.
information about that?
So yes, there's a couple things in that. Grief is a crazy thing, right? You guys know it just sucks. I don't know how else to say it, right? The grief side of this is challenging. And grief will place blocks within our vision. And sometimes we miss the beautiful things because grief is just really, such a heavy thing to carry. So there's a few other things that they may do. First of all, I don't know if you guys believe you have spirit guides, but if you don't, you do you. Whoever you throw your prayers up to, even if you throw them up to your children, okay? Sorry. I always ask for a conscious memory of their visits when I wake. I don't know if some of you guys are like me, but I have a horrible time trying to remember my dreams when I wake up. My husband will remember the detail of every little thing that happened. In fact, this morning he told me about all of his dreams last night. And I was like, shit, I got nothing. Sorry. I mean, because, but I had nothing. And I was like, well, dang. So keep a notebook next to your bed in the drawer, right? Just in case you do have that aha moment. But I say that the dream visits, man, those are just vivid and they're almost like they're in color. We can feel them. We know that we're there with them, right? But don't be discouraged if you're not getting those. I want you to change your vocabulary just a little bit. No longer are we going to say, They never come in my dreams. I never see them in my dreams. I don't get dreams with my child in it. I want you to change that to, I look forward to your visit in your perfect timing. Still means you haven't come, but it doesn't mean you're not coming, that I don't see you. You never come. Does that make sense? Swerve your energy just a little bit. We're opening it up versus closing it, right? And then the other thing with that is too, sometimes they'll go to others to get to you. So if you have others coming to you going, oh my gosh, I just saw your son in my dream last night and he told me this and he showed me that, or I just saw your daughter in my dream last night and this was going on. That is their way of getting to you. They're going to somebody that they know will tell you about their experience with that dream. Count it as a visit, moms, okay, and dads. Sorry, I just see moms right here on my screen. Sorry, I don't mean to just talk to moms because I know that we have dads too. But count it as a visit as well, you know, and they don't always come just in dreams, right? Because maybe you do have challenged dreams like I do. So I say that we don't have to look too hard for their signs. They're limitless when it comes to sending signs. So even if you're not specifically seeing bluebirds every day coming into your house, right? Anytime your thoughts go to your child when you see anything, it's them saying, hey, that's me. I'm here. I'm here with you. So just know that that's you hearing your child. In that moment, challenge them to tell you what color shirt your spouse is wearing. You know, because you know you have that connection. But yeah, those dreams, they'll come. Have faith that they'll come, and just change those words. Make sure you're not using the I don'ts and the I can'ts, right? Because then we're just kind of, you know, Linus in like, what is that, Charlie Brown with the cloud? Like we don't want to feed that cloud, right? So we want to clear that cloud and go, no, shoo cloud, I'm open. So yeah.
So Sally is asking, she has a son in spirit as well, but she's saying, will my daughter that I miscarried recognize me when I cross the veil?
Oh, absolutely. I have babies come through in readings all the time, you guys. It doesn't matter how much life experience they had or didn't have. You could be 1 week. Well, we usually don't find out in 1 week, but I'm saying the millisecond of conception, those babies are assigned a soul. They already have a soul that you picked out in heaven long before you ever came here to come. Those babies are meant to bless you with love and strength. They're only meant to be here for a little while, no matter how it is that they pass to heaven. They're only meant to be here for a little while. And there's blessings and strength in that. And you will know your children that blessed you with that love and strength. They still count. They absolutely still count.
Well, Amy is saying, Fara is a breath of fresh air. This is her first time hearing you. I also have Deborah who's saying she's done 2 wonderful readings with you. If you continue to do readings, will her child tell her new and different things every time?
Yeah, so I do have clients that I do multiple readings for, and I always say, you know, what point would it be if we were just going through their passing over and over and over again? So typically with the first reading that I do, the first thing that I challenge your children to do is to walk me through the muck, walk me through the hard stuff. I want to go through that difficult day. And the reason I feel like that's important because I'm a mom as well, and I want to know every moment of walking through that moment with my child so that we can finally get through that with that fine detail and just maybe then move on to the fun stuff, right? So the first 15, 20, 30 minutes of my first reading with you is probably most likely 100% of the time walking through their passing. And then we get to the fun stuff and the family stuff. And their versions of giving me validations that they're watching over you. And when I do another reading, you know, in the future, there's no point of starting at square one again. So sometimes they'll remind me if I forget that I've done a reading for somebody, because you guys, I do so many. If I forget that I've done a reading previously, they'll tell me in my mind, we've met. When I hear we've met, it tells me we don't need to go through my passing, Fara. Let's move on from that, right? So yeah, when I do multiple readings for people, it's definitely different stuff. Most every time. I mean, they may repeat something or take me back to a thing that they're touching on with a little bit more detail. But it's not repetitive. There'd be no point. That'd be no fun for you or for me, right?
Well, I just want to say that at the meetings at Unity, when you come and speak to us, you first of all take your shoes off so that you have a
My
connection.
shoes are off right now, girl.
And not only that, but you walk around the room, you'll stand in front of the person that you know that you're drawn to. And if you are giving a validation to that person and that person is saying, yeah, that fits kind of, sort of, you'll say, no, that's not it. I want something better than that. That is not what I am searching for. There's something much more important that you need to remember. And I always find that fascinating, because then they will come to something else that's just incredible and actually mind-blowing. But I wanted to also say that there are people who are asking, and I think this is important too. During grieving, can blaming yourself for not doing enough or the right way to save them lessen the connection with your child?
It's definitely not going to lessen the connection with them. What it's going to do is weigh you down. And I actually just it's crazy because this week I had this Zoom meeting with you guys, right? But this entire week, I think almost 100% of my readings have been connecting children with their parents. And I just had to talk to a mom about that yesterday and today. Carrying that guilt and carrying that weight of the could haves, the should haves, and the what ifs, it's only weighing you down. I can promise you that there is nothing in this universe that you could have done to change their graduation day. Nothing. So when we really beat ourselves up, I say, wow, your child is just more beautiful than you. Why carry that? The kid that has the addiction, right? That we really tried, and we tried to, get them rehab, and we had to kick them out of our house because we had enough, and we've got other kids and we got to protect them from that influence, and all those things that we do as a parent, right? Those are the things that we feel guilty for. Why on earth I tell my kids, if I didn't love you, I'd let you do whatever you want. Because I love you, I'm on your crap. And so those are those difficult moments that sometimes our parents are carrying too, right? Because I had to have that ugly moment with my child. Maybe my last conversation with them wasn't that great because they weren't listening. Kids are kids, you guys. I am a mom currently, and my children are a challenge sometimes. So take the guilt as much as you can, replace it with their love, replace the guilt with the happy memories, carry their legacy, share their traditions, share their memories, share their sass. They're allowed to be sassy still in heaven, but don't carry the guilt. The guilt's the last thing that they wanted you to carry for them. And I just, I know that you're gonna have your mama moments where you beat yourself up, but try to scream stop in your head. That's what I do. And it's not for just grief for me. When I start racing my mind with humanly like drama, I scream stop in my head as loud as I quietly can. And I just, try to consciously replace it with my favorite memory. Swerve your energy.
That's beautiful. So Anna is asking a good question. She wants to know what our kids are doing over there. Are they celebrating? Are they going to school? Do you have any thoughts about what our kids are doing as we're working to connect with them? Are they working to connect with us as well?
They're definitely working to connect with us. I have a little story that I'll tell. It was my best friend Ko when I was growing up. He was a neighborhood kid. All of us girls had a crush on him. Ko was super cute. So was his brother. And all of us neighborhood kids hung out over at their house. They had like 15 kids there all the time. But when I was growing up with Ko would always say, man, you know what, Fara, when I grow up, I'm going to have this beautiful cabin and it's going to overlook these mountains. And it's just going to be gorgeous and all these pine trees. And he goes, I'm going to have hot chicks in a hot tub and in a swimming, inside my cabin. And he had all these views that he was going to have in life when he grew up bigger. Then we grew up. Ko passed away at 42 from a lung disease. And he was older than me. He was a little bit older than my sister, but it still didn't matter. He was super cute. Ko came to me in a dream visit after he passed. And I was walking with Ko through this amazing, majestic cabin. And I was like, oh my gosh, Ko. I said, this is just like you talked about when we were kids. And he said, Fara, I had it all the time. I didn't know. This was my home in heaven. And he goes, wait till you see the view. And he took me out back on this porch. And I'm looking at this majestic view that he described. And I'm like, oh, and I felt him hug me, the biggest hug before I woke up. And I was like, wow, right? So know that your kids have a place. They're not just floundering around in heaven. They have a place, those places that we always dream of in life that maybe we don't achieve, maybe we do, right? They're there. And I do feel like they work in heaven. I think I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but we can take our life experience now and work with others, so you guys also have things that you can help others with, people who have loss in the future. When you get to heaven, you can be that comfort and that pick me up on the days that they just can't get themselves out of bed and go, no, come on, mama, you can do it. Today's the day we're going to make it through. Right. And so we can take that life experience, and an addict can take that life experience and say, you know what, today's the day that we're going to get clean and we're going to earn that coin, and, vice versa. You guys, there's so much work that we do in heaven to support the love and growth of others. Yeah. But there's definitely celebrations too. Life's not all work in heaven. I promise. It's awesome.
It's awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have Teresa asking, do you have a long waiting list for reading? Are you?
Yes, girl. Well, okay. So I'm booking into the middle of June right now. So that's not too long. But you guys, I do everything myself, and to the point right now where I'm like pulling my hair out. I get about 50 emails a day and I answer everything that I get. I feel like it's important because I have people that are reaching out in very, very, traumatic states. Maybe they just lost a child or whatever. So I feel like it's important for me to be the one that answers everybody. So I'm the one answering on my psychic page on Facebook. If you guys are on that, that's me. I'm the one answering 50 emails all day long. And I'm doing like 6 emails per each one of those because I can't get my phone number out because my phone would ring off the hook. And then I'm doing my readings in between that, you guys. So have patience with me. I do try to get to everybody as soon as possible, but I'm getting to the point where I need a guest house so that I can just say, okay, book it and you come to me. So
Well, and June is not too bad actually, but also Anna's asking, my son just passed in January. Is it too soon to do a reading?
So because there's no sense of time in heaven, I say that the timing for a reading is truly up to you and your heart. When you start feeling the push, that is your child going, Mom, let's work on this healing for you, right? I know that I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say that they were told by a psychic that there needs to be a grace period or blah, blah, blah. You guys, I've done readings the same day that a loved one passed. And again, I've never done a reading in which the ones we wanted to hear from did not come through. So I can't speak for other psychics, but I can say that your children are instantly perfect. And I mean instantly, the millisecond that they arrive in heaven, they're perfect. I do think that they go through a life review when they get there. Know that they know your love for them from your perspective, through your eyes as a mother. There's nothing left unsaid. And I think you guys need to understand that, because I feel like some people live with the regrets of not saying something or not telling them or showing them more. Know that they know your love from the moment that you conceived them, of how much you embraced and really why they drove you nuts sometimes too. Because you guys, again, I'm a mom and I had 4 daughters.
Oh, that's beautiful. So we have so many people saying so much wonderful information. This is my first time listening to you. You are amazing. Shelley saying I'm on her 3rd book. I highly recommend them. Could you just list your books for everyone? Because I don't think that we had all of them in the bio. Could you just let me?
Yes. So it's so funny because my mind just went blank. So Looking into the Windows of Heaven is my first book.
This is on our website, so people can see this just in case.
It's going to give you guys a perspective of why do we live a life? What do we do? Why do we come here? What happens when we go back to heaven? There's a pets. There's a chapter on pets, because you know what, you guys, I know that our loved ones are important, but so are our pets, and they do get to go to heaven with us, just to let you know. And I love that the kids show me sometimes that I've got the dog, I've got the black lab, or I've got the little wiener dog or whatever, with me. Heaven is Within Us is my 2nd book. And that one is really full of more of like my reading stories with pictures. And it's a little like recap of that first book kind of, and just added a little bit more information in it. My 3rd book, and I do have that one here with me because it's important for you guys. This one is Heaven's Voice is Within Your Soul, and it's got my hands with the butterflies on it. This is the connection book. It teaches you connections. This book, and it's in here, I can't even fake it, was inspired by that mom that I saw post, how do I hear my child? And so I mentioned Helping Parents Heal. You guys, this organization is so love-based. It's the only one that I refer people to because I feel like when the ship is sinking, we don't need everybody jumping into the ship and pulling it down. You guys pull each other up. And I'm so proud of you, because everybody's going to have difficult days. Everybody is. But I love, love, love this organization that you guys lift each other up and you're looking to heal. And that's important.
Well, could I ask you, are any of your books translated into Spanish? We now have a Helping Parents Heal on Espanol, and she's going to be interviewing Suzanne Giesman and David Kessler because their books are now in Spanish. Have you thought about doing that?
I've never even heard of that. So I have self-published all of my books, you guys. So I've done them all, you know, I've published them all myself. So I don't have a publisher or anything. And yes, there's going to be mistakes in a couple of my books and it's okay. Like but I do know that they are in Kindle form. So I don't know if Kindle translates. Do you
Okay.
know?
Well, good. I'm not sure either, but we can look into
If
it
there's something that I
definitely.
can look into for that, let me know, because I do know that my books are available like on Amazon, you know, like all over the world. So I don't know if when you purchase through Amazon, if there's an option to purchase a Kindle in your language. I honestly don't know that. So
Okay, well, good. Sarah's saying Farah is absolutely worth waiting for a reading. She changed my life and gave me so much hope. You also have group readings too, don't you? Or do you still do that on Zoom?
I don't do them on Zoom.
You
I do the group readings in person. And the reason for that is just like right now, I would love to just be able to do readings right now, but I don't want to throw out validations to 250 people and go, you know what, hopefully that sticks with somebody. When I do a reading, I do like to go to people specifically, just like you said, in a group of
You
200
hone in to people. You just go
I know
straight
who I'm
for
talking
them.
to because their loved one will pull me to them, you know? So I don't just throw things up at a group and go, okay, who had the child with this or who, you know, and then we've got 100 parents raising their hands. I go to that person and I say, your child is telling me this is how they passed and this is something about them, you know? So I do the in-home readings and I'm doing the one-on-ones for sure still. I'm not doing the public groups right now where I'm inviting 10 dynamics to my house just because honestly, you guys, I don't want to be liable until this mask crap is over, sorry. And then when the mask mandate is over and everything gets a little bit back to normal, I say that when the world starts spinning again a little bit, I'll definitely get those going again. I do still do groups if people are booking it themselves and they're comfortable with one another. Does that make sense? So yeah.
Good to know. So Anna saying, love, love, love you, Farah, thank you so much. Tracy saying, thank you. I'm going to buy your book tomorrow. There's one last question that I think is really important for you to answer for everyone, because this applies to all of us. Will I get messages, signs from my child for the rest of my earthly life?
Yes, absolutely. And that's honestly why I wanted to teach you guys just a little bit. Like I said, work on those connections with your kid, acknowledge them there, even if you feel like you're pretending at first, you guys, right? For those of you who aren't having the dreams, you know, yet, and who are welcoming those to come, or who are not seeing the signs yet, but we're welcoming those signs in their perfect timing. Just start pretending that your child is there. Pretend in your mind that your child is on your right-hand side. And I want you to place them there and acknowledge them with you and carry them with you. As you start acknowledging them, and I know I'm saying pretend, but they really are there. In the moment that you think that they're there, I promise they are. But I want you to pretend it for a minute so that we can start feeling it and acknowledging it. Because once we start acknowledging that they're there, and then we start sensing their signs a little bit more, right? And that grief is that hard thing, right? Because we don't feel our child, and so we feel like they're not there. They're there. I promise. You guys, I do readings all the time where, you know, I have a broken mama calling me and then they're just crying from the minute that I say hello. And I'm like, oh gosh, you're going to be fine. You're in good hands. I'm going to turn that into love in like 2 minutes. Go ahead. You know, so they're there with you every second of the day. 3 feet off of our floor, you guys. Heaven's 3 feet off of our floor. They're not that far away. You don't need a rocket ship to get to them. I promise.
Just one sheet of wax paper away. And I just want to tell you, because I agree with all of these. Thank you, Farah. You are so wonderful and your eyes are beautiful.
Oh,
I hope to
thanks.
get a reading from you someday. It sounds well worth the wait. Another person is saying, this is funny. Thank you, Farah. Your eyes are beautiful. I hope to get a reading from you one day as well. And then she's thanking Irene and I, which we haven't done much in this meeting. But
yeah, you know what, you guys, these ladies right here, they give their time and their effort to bring each and every one of you guys together with love. I wouldn't be here without you guys. Obviously, heaven put me in your path for a reason, and you in mine the same. So I appreciate what you do. I talk about you all the time, and I can tell you right now, every single one of these people that is watching this Zoom is so appreciative of this group, because there's nothing like it.
Well, thank you. And people are asking if you can come back. I know I had to schedule this a couple months ahead of time because you are
You know
so
what? If we're coming back for a question and answer thing like this, yes, we'll make it happen, right? You guys, I wish I could do the readings on the Zoom, but like I said, I don't want to be like unspecific and like throw things, but I love answering questions. I feel like you guys, the more we know, the less we fear. And I couldn't imagine being in your shoes without the knowledge that it takes to know that your children are okay, you know? So yeah, we'll do it again, girl. We'll even like today, I added it. You guys, I had 4 readings back to back today, and I'm like, okay, I'll just throw her on this day because this is at least the day that I'm done at 4 o'clock. Like, so we'll do it again.
Well, one of the things that might be possible, and I'm hoping it will, we're having our postponed conference in Arizona this time at the Sheraton Wild Horse Pass, which is really close to you. And
When is
so it'll
Don't know yet.
probably be next year. We don't have a date yet because we have to wait until all of this COVID stuff goes away. But it won't be too far from you. And if people want
I live close to
meet
that.
you-
I stayed at that hotel once.
I love that hotel. I mean, it's nice and big. It's a
It's
place
pretty.
that that's on a beautiful property. So if we do this, maybe you'll be able to come and demonstrate for people. I mean, I truly, I don't think I've ever seen someone live demonstrating the way that you do, that you just hone in, you say names, you are there and you're saying, no, that's not it. That's not it. That's
You know
not
what?
it.
When they plant my feet in stone, it's so funny because I'll argue with people and I'm like, you know, because, and then they'll go, oh my God, I know what that is, you know, because I'm like, yeah, exactly. Now you just got to have an argument with your child too. So there's that. That's my gift to you too, right? So that's like having an argument with your kid. Oh, I see Marla Stone on there. Hello, Miss Marla.
So I don't know. She looks like she's talking to somebody right now, unfortunately, but I'm glad that you know Marla. But anyway, well, it's an hour. It's been an hour, but we're going to try to have you back again at some point when we can have you answer questions, which would be wonderful.
Yeah.
And then hopefully at the conference, we'll be able to have a live demonstration, which would just be amazing. And we always allow everyone to unmute themselves at the
Go
end.
right
of the
ahead and
meeting
unmute.
so
Thank
that
you,
we
Farah.
can
What a
say
great
thank
night.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Oh
you,
my
Farah.
God.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Everybody.
Farah.
Much,
Thank
Farah.
you,
Thank
Farah.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
Sally.
you.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Farah.
That's
Till
so
the
much for
end.
being
Thank
here.
you.
Oh,
So good to see you.
so good to see you too, honey. Oh.